Assalamualaikum dan selamat kembali ke FTV. Jadi kita kat sini selalu bercakap tentang kereta elektrik ya. Tapi sebenarnya kereta elektrik itu hanya sebahagian daripada proses menetralkan karbon industri kita, terutamanya industri otomotif lah. Dan proses carbon neutrality ni dia bermula daripada pelbagai peringkat lah, daripada pengurangan penggunaan tenaga dan juga penggunaan tenaga yang renewable. Dan hari ini kita nak melihat salah satu installation solar farm yang terbesar untuk industri, iaitu di Proton Tanjung Malim, di mana mereka telah memasang ladang solar yang boleh menjana 12 megawatt kuasa, dan yang besarnya ialah berada di kawasan parkir, di mana tempat diorang simpan stok lah. Di situ seluas 23,5 ekar telah ditutup dengan solar panel untuk menjadi parkir berbumbung untuk kereta-kereta Proton yang baru keluar daripada kilang. Jadi hari ini kita akan bersembang dengan beberapa orang kuat Proton New Energy Management untuk memahami dengan lebih lanjut lagi strategi carbon neutrality Proton dan apa yang telah mereka lakukan untuk menjayakan program ini.
My name is YC Lee. I'm the head of New Energy Management in Proton, NEM in short. So what NEM does is actually we spearhead the green initiative across Proton ecosystem. Our main objective is to achieve energy saving through a series of projects that we hope that to bring benefits to Proton. Actually, Proton has embarked on energy saving initiative 5 years ago. We launched our energy wheel in 2015. So the energy wheel, the core of it is carbon emission reduction. So there are 5 phases in the energy wheel. The first phase is energy management system. We strongly believe in the notion of we can't measure what we can save. So that's why we actually implement energy management system across Proton plants and offices in the first phase of the project. During the initial 2 years, we gather a lot of energy data from the plants to office, and we have come up with energy baseline for all these plants and offices. And from there, it gives us the insight where and which area to focus to achieve the energy saving. So from there on, the second phase will be energy efficiency, or we call it EE in short. So during this phase, we actually implement numbers of energy saving projects such as LED relamping, when we change all the lights in our office and plants to LED for more energy saving. We also change the old chillers that's running in our office into a more advanced magnetic chillers. And also in compressed air system, we have actually installed OPC compressed air, where it actually helps for us to regulate our energy compressed air supply versus the actual demand. So furthermore, in the third phase is a waste and water management, where we actually recycle our wastewater in our industrial wastewater treatment center to direct the recycled water for our cooling tower purposes. We also divert some of the water for our hydrant tank storage. And in the fourth stage, renewable energy, we actually embark on installing the solar PV plant in Tanjung Malim. So currently there is a 12 megawatt solar PV plant. It will be the largest bifacial solar PV car park in Malaysia. So this solar PV plant can generate about 25% of Tanjung Malim's energy consumption. Then the last phase, where we are on the verge to go into energy digitalization. Why we say energy digitalization? Because we believe big data analytics and AI is the trend in the future. So we hope to implement this technology into our energy management system, where the big data can extract the data and filter it out to give us predictive pattern for our future energy consumption. It can also give us prescriptive measures, where our energy managers can use those big data to find out further savings potential in the system. Of course, actually over the last 5 years, we have set a target of saving of about 50 million kilowatt hour. So in reality, we actually achieved 55 million kilowatt hour. In layman terms, that's equivalent to about 30,000 CO2 emission that we save. And we strongly believe that energy saving, the most important is the people behind the saving target. You can set the energy saving target in kilowatt hour or CO2 emission is very simple. But to have the people that have the right mindset and the passion to achieve energy saving continuously year in, year out is not easy. Therefore, we embark on building up the green capacity for Proton over the last 5 years. We have trained and certified 6 registered electrical energy manager, REM, that is certified by the Suruhanjaya Tenaga. And this year, we are bringing it to the next level, where we are training up about 20 energy managers in each shop floor. Because when we cascade down to the shop floor level, we are ensure that these are sustainable practices across the company. Back in 2019, before we embarked on the solar PV project in Tanjung Malim, we actually approached the meteorology station in Berang, Tanjung Malim, to extract the data. And we found out that actually Tanjung Malim, being its geographical location at the foothills of Banjaran Titiwangsa, is prone to many rainy days. In fact, there are 265 rainy days a year in Tanjung Malim. So many will argue that this is not the ideal location to set up a solar PV plant because of the long rainy days. However, when we analyze deeper, we found that most solar PV cases, it actually just use 4 hours of peak sunlight per day. And Malaysia being on a tropical climate, we have more than 4 hours, maybe up to 6-7 hours a day of peak sunlight. So therefore, it makes it still a viable business case to have a solar PV project in Tanjung Malim. After our installation, we have actually monitored the solar generation from our system, and so far it is in line with our expectation. In fact, it actually surpassed our realistic expectation. So we are hopeful that there are more sunny days in the days ahead. Well, the cost of solar panels over the last 10 years has been declining steadily. In 2019, where we invest in the 12 megawatt solar peak project, the cost is about 3,300 ringgit per kilowatt peak. So for the 12 megawatt peak, it costs us about 40 million ringgit. However, in the last 2 years, the prices of the panels have actually increased instead of declining due to the global shortages of parts as well as the increase of logistic costs. So if today you are thinking about investing in solar PV, I think the price is more or less the same. You must be prepared to invest about 3,300 ringgit per kilowatt peak. Well, theoretically it's possible. Like I mentioned, at the moment the 12 megawatt peak is giving about 25% energy consumption of Tanjung Malim. However, to bring it up to 100%, we have to add on more panels. But beside that, we must always remember the sun is only available in the daytime, and our production run 2 shifts. So for the nighttime consumption where there's no sun, we will need to have a huge battery storage system where we can store the excess energy generated during the daytime and deploy it at nighttime for our plant usage. However, battery cost is not cheap, even with the advanced technology like lithium-ion battery. If we're going to have a huge battery storage, it will make the business case not viable at the moment. So that's why we are not thinking to go 100% due to the cost-benefit ratio is not favorable. I meant it's possible in the future when the battery cost actually drops to a level where it is viable economically. However, at the moment we do not think that it's possible because why? I mentioned just now, you need a huge battery storage system to store the huge electricity generated by the solar panel. And don't forget, our plant doesn't run 7 days a week. We only have 5 days production days. So for the non-production days like weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and also public holiday, the energy generated will have to be diverted and sell back to the grid. But at the current net energy metering scheme 3.0, the price is much lower. So it may not be economical justified the investment. However, we are actually looking at utilizing battery storage to tackle our maximum demand charges, because we think that we can actually charge the batteries at night time during the low tariff period, and we can deploy the batteries energy during the peak hours to reduce maximum demand. That will be the more realistic project that we're embarking at the moment. So far, we have actually contacted few Proton dealers, and they are very excited and eager to invest in this solar PV project. The reason being is our dealers mainly are commercial tariff, which is much higher than the industrial tariff our plant is using. And coupled with the fact that government has introduced green investment tax allowance and capital allowance, which they can claim up to 48% of their green investment in the next 2 years. So it makes it very viable to have a payback period between 3 years to 4 years. So that's why the reason many dealers are actually looking at Proton, where we are the first one to make the step by installing the 12 megawatt solar PV project in Tanjung Malim. So I believe more dealers will follow suit. And also our NEM team has been in advanced talks with some of the vendors, which is a huge energy consumption themselves. So they are actually looking to install on their rooftop as well. So we believe that we can expand the renewable energies initiative to upstream our vendors and downstream to our dealers. Well, I mentioned if with the investment incentive from the government, for commercial tariff, we are looking at about 3 to 4 years lah. But without the investment tax allowance, it will be close to about 8 years to 9 years lah. But for industrial tariff, we are looking around 11 years to recover. But solar panel can actually last for 25 years. So looking for the long term, it is still a viable investment opportunity to invest in solar panel now.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Abdul Azim dari Proton Tanjung Malim, projek team daripada New Energy Management. Dan ini adalah solar plant dekat Proton Tanjung Malim yang kita pasang dekat motor pool area untuk parking kereta-kereta Proton sebelum deliver kepada customer. Our design is 75% of maximum demand, which is 12 megawatt peak, which is in DC. If we convert into AC supply is 9.75 megawatt. Keluasan motor pool area ni kalau dalam 23 ekar, dan 23 ekar ni kita dah penuh dengan solar panel lah. Yang teknologi solar panel yang kita pasang ke atas ni adalah bifacial. Kita boleh harvest solar energy from both direction, from top directly from sunlight, and any reflection from the car body can harvest the indirect sunlight also can be captured to harvest energy. Solar roof ni dia ada dua benefit lah. Satu, kita boleh save, generate electricity. At the same time, we can make it as a shading for the car lah, from sun and rain. So,
Berapa kereta boleh park kat sini 23 ekar ni?
lebih 2,000 kereta boleh parking dekat under rooftop ni.
So saya tengok sini kosong aja. Kenapa kosong? Kilang tak jalan ke? Kereta tak ada? Kenapa?
Oh, kereta ada. Semua parking dekat sebelah sana. Dekat kereta belum masuk lagi kawasan solar ni sebab kita masih lagi tengah touch up, tengah tunggu untuk media tour, and then kita nak buat official punya ni lah, official launching lah, and then we can open the car for parking. So kita sekarang berada di inverter station untuk bagi 9 megawatt peak punya solar panel, di mana function inverter ni adalah untuk convertkan DC supply daripada solar panel kepada AC, dan untuk matchingkan kepada TNB punya supply frekuensi.
I see.
So this inverter akan tukar DC supply daripada DC yang dia harvest daripada energi solar ni. Basically solar panel akan generate DC power. So DC have to be converted into AC for us to integrate with our existing grid.
50 Hz lah.
50 Hz.
This thing dia bekerja siang hari je lah.
Siang hari saja. So siang hari saja dia akan kerja. As long ada sun, dia akan kerja.
So maksudnya dia automatically tutup ke macam mana ni? Bila dah petang tu dia macam tutup sendiri je ke, ataupun you kena turn off ke?
Actually it will be on standby. Bila solar generation is down, and then dia automatic dia akan after a certain interval dia akan sleep.
I see, sleep mode lah. Oh, okay. So you tak payahlah kena ada orang datang turn off pukul 6 petang sebelum maghrib tu datang tutup ke? Tak ada lah.
Everything is automated. And then we have an online monitoring system for this our whole solar plant.
Okay.
We are using our inverter, we are using sunroom.
Sama lah with the solar panel tadi. Sana.
So,
the thing kat tepi tu apa dia panggil tu, yang kat hujung-hujung tu?
itu junction box.
Oh, junction box.
So junction box ni untuk combiner, boleh call it as a junction box or combiner box. So we have few strings will be combined into a few arrays. That array will be combined into a junction box. So per string is around 10 to 20 pieces of solar panel will be connected in a string, and then each array will consist of like 10 to around 10 strings connected for each array, and that array will be combined into a combiner box.
So bila macam hari mendung macam ni, memang nampak kurang ke dia punya kuasa dia tu?
Dia bergantung pada irradiance. Irradiance sunlight kita turun, dia punya generation ni kurang.
Banyak beza dia ke?
Quite it depends. Dia the best time bila adalah bila matahari terik tapi hujan. that is the best time for harvesting.
Sebab dia sejuk.
Because the temperature will be cooler, but the
Basically hujan panas lah.
hujan waktu panas.
Hujan panas lah, the best time.
So means hujan sejukkan dia punya solar panel to increase the efficiency, and then the sunlight irradiance is higher. That is the ideal time for harvesting.
Nama saya Muhammad Halimi. Saya daripada Department New Energy Management. So saya punya function kat sini adalah sebagai energy manager lah. Dan kita punya tugas department ialah untuk mengurangkan penggunaan elektrisiti dekat Proton Tanjung Malim. Setakat ni kita ada satu projek besar lah, installation of solar PV dekat rooftop dan dekat carport area lah. So kita ada 3 tempat building lah yang kita install solar PV kat rooftop. So satu area dekat carport. So kapasiti dekat carport ni lebih kurang dalam 9 megawatt peak lah. So which is about 75% lah daripada kapasiti solar yang kita install dekat Proton Tanjung Malim lah. So the rest dekat rooftop dalam 25% lah solar kapasiti. So roughly dekat dengan 30,000 lah panel PV yang kita install kat dalam Proton Tanjung Malim lah. Solar panel yang install kat Proton ni kita ada dua jenis panel solar lah. Satu yang dekat carport ni kita install jenis model mono plus bifacial. So yang mana dia punya power rated dia dalam 440 watt untuk setiap panel. So modul efisiensi dia dalam 20% lah, lebih kurang 20%. So untuk rooftop pula kita install monocrystalline, jenis monocrystalline. So dia punya rated power dia dalam 395 watt. So dia punya efisiensi dalam 19% lah, dekat 20% lah.
Kenapa ada dua jenis yang berbeza?
Dekat rooftop dia punya solar kita cuma perlu bahagian on the top lah untuk kita generate electricity from the solar irradiance. So untuk yang carport kita sebab panel kita pasang dia boleh serap irradiance daripada on the top dengan from the bottom lah bila dia terpancar pada kereta surface kan, car surface. So dia boleh generate more lah the electricity.
Solar panel ni orang cakap kat Malaysia ni walaupun panas kurang sesuai untuk solar kerana terlalu panas. Betul ke? Kenapa orang macam tu?
Okay, sebenarnya dia bila kita dedahkan solar panel pada cuaca yang tanpa terik macam dalam pukul 12, pukul 1 kan. So dia punya kecekapan dia untuk nak generate electricity dia akan jatuh disebabkan oleh panas lah. Panel tu sendiri panas. So bila ada heat dia akan jadi macam loss in power punya generation lah.
Banyak ke losses?
Loss dia sikit je lah. Sebab dia sekejap dalam masa sejam 2 jam tu cuma dia tengok pada cuaca. Macam dekat Tanjung Malim ni kadang-kadang hujan. So dia satu kelebihan lah.
Apa dia hujan tu kelebihan?
Apabila keadaan mendung, apabila kita cuaca terik tiba-tiba ada air kan, ada hujan dekat kawasan ni. So panel tu akan jadi sejuk sikit lah.
Okey.
So
kira kalau lepas hujan dia naik matahari terik, tu cantik lah.
betul.
Pukul berapa yang dia boleh hasilkan kuasa sebenarnya?
Dari pemantauan kita ada dashboard, kita ada energy monitoring system. So kita tengok solar mostly dia akan banyak generate electricity banyak generate from the solar punya system ni dalam pukul 10 sampai ke pukul 3 lah. So around that time tu
lepas pukul 3 dia dah kurang sikit dah.
Dia punya generation dia kurang sikit lah, semakin kurang. The optimum time around 10 minit.
So matahari pagi lagi bagus daripada matahari petang.
Mungkin sebab kita punya
mengarah
keadaan kita susun panel tu dengan kecondongan matahari tu kan. So dia punya pendedahan panel pada irradiance tu dia kurang lah.
Berapa kerap dia kena cuci berabuk atas situ?
Dengan keadaan yang taburan hujan tinggi dekat Tanjung Malim ni, so macam saya rasa maintenance punya dia punya frekuensi tu mungkin setahun tu dah cukup lah untuk nak cuci tu. Sini dengan Taiping saya rasa lebih kurang lah sama.
So ni antara salah satu tempat yang paling lembab di Malaysia ada Tanjung Malim ni?
Nombor 2 kot saya rasa. Tapi memang selalu hujan lah sini. Sini selalu hujan lah.
Taipei tu kita tahu kan,
betul.
belajar mula sekolah kan.
Okey. Benefit dia saya rasa daripada segi penyimatan bil elektrik lah. Kita boleh nampak bukannya dari energy consumption tu, KWH tu je, tapi daripada maximum demand kan. Dia memang dia shaving sikit lah kita punya maximum demand. Sebelum ni kita katakan, contoh katakan 16 kilowatt maximum demand, 16,000 kilowatt, 16,000 watt lah. So bila dah masuk solar ni, dia nampak dia kurang, penurunan dia kurang sikit lah, dalam 1 atau 2,000 watt lah.
So how do you feel about the project?
Bagi saya punya career development, saya kata bagus lah. Untuk Proton pun dari segi kita penjimatan memang nampak satu projek yang sukses dan more added value to Proton lah dekat, sebab kita dapat kurangkan bill utility.
Okay, sekarang saya nak tanya you personally, how do you feel about the project?
Saya rasa memang satu kepuasan kot lah saya dapat involve dengan projek ni, projek solar kat Proton ni.
Kenapa?
Sebab dia sekarang ni kita nampak trend sekarang ni semua orang ke arah green energy kan. So solar adalah salah satu yang semua orang boleh pursue lah untuk install, untuk dapatkan green energy. So saya rasa bangga lah sebab saya boleh belajar macam mana dia orang, daripada macam mana dia orang design, macam mana dia orang buat installation, macam mana dia orang buat maintenance activity untuk solar.
Jadi sampai situ aja video kita kali ini. Saya rasa ini satu video yang mungkin sedikit dry, tapi saya rasa penting untuk kita memahami apa langkah-langkah yang sedang dilakukan oleh pelbagai syarikat di Malaysia ini untuk menghasilkan sasaran atau mencapai sasaran carbon neutrality negara. Kita punya sasaran mungkin jauh lagi, tetapi setiap langkah itu penting untuk kita sampai ke sasaran tersebut. Jadi kalau boleh tolong saya sikit tekan butang like dan kongsikan dengan kawan-kawan, dan juga tekan butang subscribe, sangat-sangat membantu kita, dan juga butang loceng supaya tak ketinggalan bila kita mau naik video terbaru. Pemandu Malaysia, pemandu yang berhemah, kita jumpa lagi insya-Allah.